Hello everyone and welcome back to JT on the Go. So today we are going to try out the St. Charles line in New Orleans, Louisiana. The St. Charles line is the oldest streetcar line in the world, and it is part of the New Orleans RTA transit system, which operates buses, streetcars, and ferries in the New Orleans area. But before we get started, a quick word from our sponsor, 504 Leans. Here we are in Café du Mall in Metairie with our sponsor, 504 Leans, who happens to be my Uncle Jason. So, what is 504 Leans?
504 Leans is a custom apparel, print, and design company. We specialize in custom shoes, custom shirts. We also specialize in doing design or graphics for your projects. So if you're looking for a logo or something to represent your business, we supply all your needs. We deliver locally. We're locally owned, but we also service all the continental U.S. and foreign countries.
Nice to hear. Great company you got.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So you can follow him on Instagram and Facebook.
Yes, Instagram, and we also have our website, www.504leans.com. This is just some of the things that we do, so you can have an idea of how we print. We do direct-to-garment printing. We also offer direct-to-film printing as well. Different product lines, different offerings, so that way we could accommodate different materials. There's a need for multiple avenues of printing. We also do flyers and business cards. Any type of printing that you could possibly think of, we can service and accommodate you.
Easy. So now, back to the St. Charles line. We will be starting at Carrollton and North Claiborne. Before riding the New Orleans Regional Transit Authority streetcars, be sure to familiarize yourself with maps of the network. The line in blue is the Riverfront streetcar that follows the Mississippi River from the flea market to John Churchill by the Convention Center. The lines in red and light green are the canal streetcar lines. The red line would take you straight to the cemeteries where you can take a tour of, but this line terminates at Canal Street. The light green line will take you straight to the city park in the New Orleans Museum. The light green line also serves the flea market. The line in yellow is called the Loyola Uptown streetcar line. This one goes into the flea market on Saturdays and Sundays, but terminates at Canal Street on Mondays through Fridays. The yellow line also serves the New Orleans Union Passenger Terminal, where you can catch Greyhound buses and also Amtrak trains to Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. It is also the line that is closest to the Superdome and the Smoothie King Arena. The line we are here for in dark green is the St. Charles line. In the downtown area, it goes into a loop in a clockwise direction, then travels along St. Charles Avenue through the Garden District Avenue to Carrollton and North Claiborne on Riverbend. Before riding, make sure you download the LE Pass app, where you can plan, pay, and ride with the New Orleans Regional Transit Authority. You can use this pass on the streetcars, buses, and ferries. The streetcars on the St. Charles line are different from all the ones on the other lines. These streetcars are painted with the original dark green with brown windows. The streetcars on the other lines are red with gold windows. Our streetcar is pulling in. Wait a second, there was another one on its tail. This is how the seats get turned around for the journey back to the New Orleans metropolitan area, which is not very far away. But we are heading to a location farther down the line to get the drone in the air. If you are not using the LE Pass app, a day pass costs $3 per person. The St. Charles line began service in 1835 as the Carrollton line of the New Orleans and Carrollton Railroad, powered by a steam engine, horse, and mule, prior to electrification in 1893. Today, it is the oldest and continuously operated streetcar system in the world, and it is the busiest route that the New Orleans RTA operates. Used by both locals and tourists, it is something New Orleans is famous for next to the city's culture and food. In the 1800s and 1900s, streetcars could be found in almost any US city, but by the late 1940s to the early 1960s, all of the streetcars were replaced by buses. For New Orleans, all of the streetcars were sold off, but they brought them back and restored the network, including the St. Charles line. Today, New Orleans is one of the few places where you can see these old streetcars in action. The streetcars you would see today when visiting New Orleans were refurbished by RTA after they were brought back and restored in the 1990s. However, service was disrupted in 2005 during and after Hurricane Katrina, which devastated the New Orleans area. If you are trying to know which streetcar is going where, just look at the front windshield. The streetcars have two cabs, one cab in the front and one cab in the back. In February of every year, sections of the streetcar lines close at a certain point for Mardi Gras. Some of the parade routes run on parts of the streetcar lines. The streetcars also run parallel to road traffic in the median. They only stop at some of the stations if they see people standing there. If there are no people, then they would pass the stop. Each streetcar is provided by electricity, provided by the overhead lines. We talked about the difference between a streetcar and a cable car in my video about the cable cars in San Francisco, California. The streetcars also make stops when someone requests a stop by pulling the string on board each one. The strings are located on the windows. This lets the driver know someone wants to get off. Sometimes at the endpoints, a few streetcars find themselves on top of one another. They do come frequently. Stations are pointed out by signs like this one. Sometimes cars use the crossings to make U-turns if they want to turn around. Cars may have to sit on the tracks and wait for the road ahead to be clear in order to cross or turn. Some stations look a lot newer and are like bus stations, shielding passengers from the rain. Others don't shield passengers from the rain. It's time to head back. The St. Charles line is the only streetcar line that was listed as a National Historic Landmark by the United States Department of the Interior on August 25, 2014. You can find signs like this one on all St. Charles line streetcars. The streetcars operate as cars or buses and obey all traffic signals at intersections the lines cross. The interiors were restored like they were in the old days. Back where we started. If you find a detour somewhere between the section of line we toured, that is a track that the streetcars would take to get to this maintenance depot where they are maintained and kept. Streetcars from the other lines are also maintained and kept here. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like this video, subscribe, comment, and follow my Instagram account for more. This is JT on the Go signing off.